But then you watch a game like tonight and LeBron kicked his ass. He's not ready to be a top 15 guy, but he really, really, really gives a shit about every game. It's great. I love it. Like, this is a long, sustained offensive excellence that when you watch it feels legitimate. We're not going to be nice. What do we care? We're just these, let's call it what it is. We're live Sunday night with a very depressed cousin Sal. We're taping this. It is 8:18. So much promise for today. Big Cowboys game against the Lions. First Mets game in the NLCS. And now, as we head toward midnight on the East Coast, I've seen that look before, Sal. I've seen that look on your face.
If a tear comes down, it's because the ring light is just blinding. I have it on a weird setting, but don't for a second think that I'm crying or bawling.
Should we cue a Blood Diamond? Should I get the music?
That'll
Go,
do it.
You
That'll
talk.
put me
You
over.
talk, and I'll find Blood Diamond the theme song. Go ahead.
I'll be biting the sheets. 55-9. Is that a beat? Is that as bad enough beating? That was a combined score between the Cowboys and Mets games today. The Dodgers scored as many as the Cowboys, but I don't know, man. I was thinking before I jumped on the Zoom, how many years are we going to do this? Like, are we going to be like 85 and 86 years old and just be like, your team sucked tonight. All of them. Pathetic.
I'm playing the Blood Diamond theme song. I don't remember this as the theme song.
It's very sad. It's all very sad.
The tears are rolling down Sal's face.
Jesus.
So, all right. This was a Hall of Fame New York sports stretch. We had the Mets and the Yankees are both in the championship series, which has that happened less than 5 times, 4 times? 2000.
Yeah. Yep.
Was there another time that happened? Second time? Whatever. Giants home game Sunday night. Jets home game Monday night, including they fired their coach. I was in New York City last week. It was all anyone was talking about. We had the New York Liberty in the finals. They won today. And then we had just randomly a Knicks-Wolves preseason game that they both played their starters for a bunch of the game. There was Dante DiVincenzo tension. He's yelling at the Knicks bench. He's yelling at Rick Brunson after the game. What a time for New York sports. Our guy, JJ, who is still reeling from the fact that he picked the game correctly tonight, he's got a New York sports pod. There's too many topics. I don't even know what you lead with.
He's going to do 20 hours. Yeah, the Rangers and Islanders play as well. It's a New York bonanza. But I don't know what to be more depressed about, the Mets or the Cowboys here. I guess the Cowboys.
Well, did you think the Mets were going to win tonight? I mean, usually, game one, it's a feel out. Who knows?
No, you don't want to win 9-0. And now the Dodgers, the one thing about the Dodgers, why I wanted to play them stupid instead of the Padres is we can get to their pitching. We can get to their middle relief. And now they've pitched 3 shutouts in a row. Yeah. So not promising at all, but 55-9.
The good thing about baseball is this is actually a 7-game series.
Right.
Unlike these 5 gamers where you feel like you lose the first game and you're like climbing up a mountain after that.
Well, Cowboys Lions isn't 7 games. We don't have to see Campbell shit all over us again and again and again.
We're going to get to your team later. I wanted to go through some of the highlights from today. I have highlights. I have a highlights section. I have a lowlights section.
Okay.
So the highlights, the favorites are back.
Yeah.
We finally had an NFL week that made sense. The favorites went 10-3. Only Cleveland, Indianapolis, and Chicago covered. And in the Indianapolis and Chicago cases, they were both favored at the start of the week, and then they had line flips. The Chicago line flip because people are dumb and just talked themselves into the Jaguars. And then Indianapolis flipped because there was a quarterback change, right? Atlanta. I'm sorry, not Indianapolis. Atlanta flipped against New Orleans because they had a quarterback change. So
Atlanta was Carolina, right? Atlanta was
not
Carolina?
Atlanta. Who played New Orleans?
Tampa Bay.
Blank. Tampa Bay.
I know they're all the same.
They were underdogs in favor. My bad.
Road
fix
favorites
that for the podcast.
8-0.
I'm gonna sound like a genius when Kyle edits that.
You are.
Tampa and Chicago used to be underdogs, and then 6 double-digit wins and every old school tease and parlay covered today.
We won. In other words, we won money, which makes it that much more depressing.
The square public bets win.
Yeah.
Unless you had the Giants plus 3.5 late night.
Right.
But yeah, so the week made a little more sense is my point.
It's good. It's good. I like that. I mean, it had to happen eventually, right? That where the good teams win. It was coming to a point where you were afraid to take an eliminator. Everyone was out in their eliminator pools.
Yeah.
I think they're like, now that we eliminated everybody from those dumb pools, we could have some of the favorites. When the Eagles tried to lose, they did against the Browns. The Washington hung in there with the Ravens. I was actually more impressed with them than I was. I mean, we'll talk about all these games, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
still the favorites came through.
Yeah. The Eagles had a team meeting and before the game, and they were like, look, the Browns offense can't score. If we're gonna blow everybody's tees today, we've got to come up with some stuff on our own. They were like, the
Right.
special teams was like, what if we get a kick blocked and give up a touchdown? Like, good idea. Let's do that. Could we get a fumble touchdown for them or an inter? No, they couldn't. So anyway, 2016, the Browns offense was abominable, but it was kind of a boring day, but it felt like an old school football game. The fantasy scores were laid down. So we had that. Next highlight, the NFC North.
Mm.
Holy shit. Remember we did our futures before the year, and one of the futures we really liked was an exact order bet on FanDuel, which was 6-1. And it was Detroit,
Yeah.
Green Bay, Chicago, Minnesota, exact order, and it was plus 600. We're not out of that, by the way. What we weren't expecting was that this would be, first of all, they have the top 4-point differential teams in the entire NFL. Vikes plus 63, Lions plus 60, Bears plus 47, Packers plus 41. So we got that. They're the first division with 4-win teams after 6 weeks since we had the new division starting in 2002. And they have 17 wins already total.
Mm-hmm.
So this division's a beast. If you had to bump one team to not make the playoffs, who would it be?
Well, it's funny you said that about our bet. As me, you, and Hench, we have that bet top to bottom, first to
No,
fourth.
House jumped on that too, I think.
Oh, House. Yeah. House. Sorry.
The four of us.
Four of us. The Vikings, who we had for last, are a game and a half out of last.
Right.
Like they could go on a little run here, and they play Detroit. And, you know, I don't think we all think they're as good as 5-0 or maybe even 4-1. But I still have hope for that bet. I watched the Bear. I don't know. I had the Jaguars again. I'm an idiot. I'm a glutton. I'm an early morning glutton too.
So what was the thought process? London, some of the offensive stats, like what else? How did you talk yourself into that one?
Oh, I don't use thought process anymore.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, no. Why would I use any thought process? Yeah, that was it. They own London. They have to go out there. Maybe I'm giving Peterson and Lawrence more credit. I don't know why we should give Lawrence any credit anymore. It's just so hard for him to move up and down the field. Even when they were up 3-0, I was like, aha, I picked one right. It's not even 7 a.m. Out in the West Coast. And just a blizzard of offense for Chicago. Really
yeah,
gross.
House came in to visit. He's in LA now, and he came last night. He was doing your show this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking last night about the picks in that game. And he was really bullish on the Jags. One of the reasons was rookie quarterbacks in London, I think, are 0-5. There's some stat. 0-5 against spread something. And
he was the first rookie quarterback to win. Yep.
Well, there's that, but how many of them were going against like a completely dysfunctional team that afterwards the coach is like, we have no culture. So I don't know. Sometimes with these stats, there might have to be more context. Like this Jags team, they rolled over the last hour of that game. Like they were like, get us the fuck out of here. Oh wait, we have to play here again next week. Oh my God. You could just see like the life sinking from their body.
Do you think the culture thing is so confusing? It's like, what you're gonna take the team to a museum in London, somewhere in there, like what in Liverpool? What are you gonna do? Like, I think you send that guy back. I mean, my guy might have to go back too. But do you think like the business class ticket is figured into whether or not the owner should fire Peterson? It's like, oh shit, if I keep him, he could just fly back with the team. Otherwise, I have to send a business class to the whoever's not on the team, fly him in, and that's 18 grand.
Was there coaches
it's
union? Like you could send him back like Coach Middle Seat, right? Be like sayonara.
Coach Middle Seat.
Bro, 33B. Enjoy.
Is that his nickname, Coach Middle Seat? I like that.
I was going to do this for the lowlights, but we might as well do it now. So Peterson had amazing quotes after the game. I'm just going to read it because this is the verbatim quote. We got to keep showing our players. We got to keep coaching. Listen, there's another game coming. Whether we like it or not, there's still, what have we played? 6 games? We play a 17-game schedule. So we got a few more games left. So nobody's going to feel sorry for us. Nobody's going to say, okay, but we've got to change. I mean, I say it's all of us, coaches, players, everybody. We've got to change right now, that culture. Otherwise, it just gets out of control. We're on a slippery slope or right on the cusp of that slope. And at some point, we've got to, enough is enough. And you got to have enough pride and figure out a way. This would all be better if he wasn't the head coach.
Right. If he was anyone else, if he was a beat writer for Jacksonville, it'd be good. Yeah.
Or it was like the special teams coach. I was thinking, like, when you're the head coach, it's like you, like your family, a bunch of stuff happens and you have
Right.
like a family meeting and we're like, we have to change the culture right now. And they're like, you're the dad, like you pay for everything, you own the house.
I'm going to do that and see what kind of reaction I get. I want to see, but
Just
I
stop
do
talking about culture and see what the kids say.
I love the idea of, hey, Travis, Gabe, Coach Middleseat would like to see you. Bring your playbook. He's gonna draw the slippery slope he's talking about. I know it's confusing, but he's gonna diagram it. Coach
Lombardi's gonna be so jealous. Lombardi's the king of coach nicknames. Coach Middleseat's better than
it's so perfect.
Coach Middleseat's great. Doug, 33B. It's a one-way ticket. Please still come back. I think the other choice is you play the second game and just leave Doug there. And there's no seat for him home. He's just
interesting. Yeah, right.
Do that.
Find your way home.
Back to the NFC North.
Oh.
So we could have 4 playoff teams from this division. I know we always say that's impossible, but we've seen it before where a division gets to 40, 41 games. The complicating factor would be the Lions, because usually when that happens, the teams are all between like 9 and 11 wins, something like that. But the Lions look like they might be even with the Hutchinson injury today, they might be a 13 or 14 win team. So
yeah, I think so. Neither team, you couldn't get swept against any of the teams, right? You have to kind of go 1-1 against everybody.
Have to split. Right.
Yeah. And then you'd have to, I mean, the NFC is probably the place to do it, because I think that 7th spot is a 9-win team. So yeah, there's a chance. It's Bears.
You're so sad. This is like I hate sad.
I was laughing about middle seat. Now I've gone
middle
back.
seat. Yeah, middle seat. Now you're back in a funk again.
Down. Yeah.
So here's the case with Chicago not to make the playoffs, because they're 4-2 right now. They won that stupid game against Tennessee in week 1. They lost to Houston, lost to Indy. They barely beat that like beaten up shell of a Rams team, right? 24-18. They held on to the end. Right. They killed Carolina and they killed Jacksonville in the late. Now they have a bye. So they're at Washington, at Arizona, home Pats. That's probably 5-3, but it could also be 6-3 or 5-4, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. But with their schedule gets really hard starting week 11. They have Green Bay, Minnesota, at Detroit, at San Fran, at Minnie, home Detroit, home Seattle, at Green Bay. That's 8 straight weeks of hard games.
Yeah.
And I think they're the weak link, because those last 3 weeks, Caleb's we all have to agree he's looked good, but Rams defense, Carolina defense, Jags defense, probably 3 of the 5 worst defenses in the league, maybe 3 of the worst 4. So I don't know. My jury is still out. Now they have Washington in week 8, who doesn't have a good defense either. And then Arizona, who doesn't have a good defense. Then the Pats, who gave up 41 points. So Caleb might really get some momentum here.
Right.
But then it's going
so
to get
funny.
hard.
I think Arizona and Washington are better than the Bears, but watch the Bears win both. And it's too close to the Sunday night game to see this number. But their over-under win total was 8.5, right? The Bears, at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
You think it's the same now, or you think it's higher?
I remember seeing that this summer and thinking it was the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah.
But now we realize like the schedule for the first half of the season was easy. But we marked down before the year. We were like that last stretch is pretty tough. So you think their over-under is higher now?
Well, it can only be 9 if it's any higher. Yeah, if it's any higher. But I think you keep it at 8.5. I'm still I'm confused on a lot of teams through 6 weeks. They're one of the teams that I'm confused on. Like the Giants are another one. Are they good, or are they a bottom 5 team?
Definitely not good. They scored 7 points. Their coach was going for it on every 4th down, because it takes them 4 plays to get 10 yards.
Yeah, they should just forfeit any night game for sure. But I wonder if I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking at sometimes. was probably looking at the
It's
Mets.
weird that the Packers have the worst point differential of the four because I feel probably second best about their ceiling, especially now that Watson's back. All
Yeah.
right, next highlight. Nick Sirianni feels like he's back, and by I mean back, getting weird again.
Yeah,
I
right.
felt like he was like sedated the first few weeks. Like he's like, I almost got fired. I gotta really like, see, he's going home talking to his wife or girlfriend. It's like I gotta scale it back.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to keep my. I think I was pushing a little too far. I gotta rein it back a little bit. And now he showed up this week. He shaved head, really tight haircut, not a complete bald shave, but a shave. He's barking at his own fans. He just had a different style. And by the way, they were just as disjointed as ever. But
Oh,
it feels like we've hit the Breaking Bad Sirianni point of the season. He's just gonna start acting aggro and weird and having weird press conferences, and I'm here for it. I didn't like sedated, neutered Sirianni.
No, yeah, of course you want all these guys to be hot-headed lunatics, and that when they fall flat on their faces, we could just laugh at them. But that team was not. I don't know. You and I, we were talking. Is Jalen Hurts injured? What? He's not the same. None of these guys are the same. They barely put the Browns away. If
Yeah,
Watson wasn't so crippled looking out there, he's so lumbering. Even when he takes the ball outside, I'm
really
not.
rough.
I don't know. You talk about coaches like Stefanski, and we touched on this last week. He's got to step up and say, "Hey guys, this is not me. This is not me." In it, like if Spotify said to you, "You're playing, you're going to put
Don't
Creed
get
in the
fired, Sal.
background. If you're going to
Creed
put Creed in the back of every
instead of
one
Pearl
of your
Jam.
podcasts, you're right." And you're like, "What?" And they're like, "No, you're going to do it." And you're like, and publicly you say, "Yes, this is my decision." It reflects poorly on you, right? Like Stefanski's got to say, "This has nothing to do with me. They're making me start Deshaun
There's been
Watson."
better examples in real life, but we'll move on.
Okay.
It would be like if instead of doing the basketball over-unders with Priscilla and House next week, we just randomly did NHL.
Yeah.
And I just
Should do
didn't
it.
explain it. It was like, yeah, we're gonna do NHL this year. I don't
Right.
just
And
sorry
you owned it.
guys. Yeah, now it's this is what we care about now. I don't know what to make of the Eagles either, but your division's pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
It could be 9-8 in your division taken. That's why I'd like the Giants. They lose today. Their season's not over. I don't feel like you got killed today. I don't feel like your season's over. Nobody's season's over. 9-8's gonna take that division.
Only glimpse I've had. Like, all right, maybe we're just a team that gets killed at home. Maybe like, hey, come to Jerry's World and watch us get demolished. It's fun. But there is a path
Yeah.
for the Cowboys to win. We still have 3 NFC South games left. And, we have Cincinnati and we have some other, I think we could beat the Giants again and split against those NFC East teams. And that gets us to 9, God forbid 10.
Well, you're banged up on defense. There's legitimate reasons, but you also got killed.
Yeah. We're also awful. Yeah.
And you also might not be good.
Yeah.
The fact that they haven't figured out the stadium piece where there's just blinding sunlight in the eyes of your receivers. Like Tolbert didn't catch a big pass today because he couldn't see the ball because the sun was blinding him. This is a stadium built in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Just didn't account for where the sun was coming around as the sun set in October. Nobody
Sun's so
thought
unpredictable. So unpredictable. You never know what side.
It's in the same spot every year in mid-October, and they just didn't do it.
Jerry tried to move the sun. He couldn't do it. Doesn't have that much power.
Next highlight. You mentioned Cleveland earlier in this Watson thing, which we talked about a bunch last week. A highlight today was they showed a graphic that they were 0 for their last 26 on third down.
Yeah.
And it seemed like a mistake or a typo, but it wasn't. They had up to that point 26 straight third down conversions, did not convert. Right. It's impossible. You would think like out of 26, there's a couple 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2s, right?
By someone jump off sides. One of them. Couldn't you draw someone off sides?
Right. Or pass interference, like
falls over the line.
That would be like betting roulette 26 times and being wrong 26 times in a row or something.
Yeah. You and I would figure out a way to convert.
Yeah, we probably could do that. Yeah, we probably could do that. But anyway, concurrently, Baker Mayfield had another really fun game. He had 3 picks, but like 2 of them were pretty goofy. I thought he was really good in that game. I went back. So when they decided to go after Watson, they also had to dump Mayfield, remember?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And they had to send him to Carolina. They got some conditional pickback, but they actually paid $10.5 million of Mayfield's deal that year to go play for Carolina, and then it didn't work out in Carolina, and he left, went to the Rams, and eventually landed in Tampa.
That part of it, if you just stop right there, makes it one of the top 5 worst deals. And if you go into compensation and massages and everything else, yeah,
it's an asterisk. 10.5 million, like not a small amount of money. Like that's that you could get probably a number 2 receiver or an edge rusher. You could get somebody almost as good as Hassan Reddick year to year. You could get a left guard for 10.5 million. Anyway, so they had that. You had all the allegations against Deshaun and the fact that he's a historically bad quarterback. And the fans are so bummed out now. It feels like there's going to be a revolt in Cleveland.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know why anyone's holding on to this. This is really, really bad. We concluded that the front office just wants him to get hurt.
Or it's the most stubborn thing ever. It's like when our cousin gets super stubborn during an argument and we just kind of let him have it. That's the Watson thing.
Oh yeah. Middle seat, Jimmy and middle seat. Yeah.
Middle seat Doug. More highlights today. Drake May's first touchdown pass. Great moment. Most excited I've been in the room with Kyle watching the Pats game.
Good.
Me, at least 3 years during that 11-week stretch when Mac Jones seemed like he was going to be good as a rookie. So that was 3 years ago. But even I don't remember because it really seemed like it was going badly. They had like they're on like their 19th offensive line in 6 games, and he was sailing past his beginning. He had a little deer in the headlights, and it was like, oh my God, please don't let this be Zach Wilson. Like, just don't let this be. And getting to the point where he's hitting somebody on a 5-yard pass. Like, good job, good. We're like little kids at like a 8-year-old youth soccer game. And then near the end of the half, just uncorks a fucking beauty.
Yeah.
Hits his guy in stride for, I think it was like a 49-yard touchdown. And it was great.
That's how you want the first one to look, right? Like the first guy's first home run, you don't want it to hit the glove and go over the fence. You want an upper decker. That was a great in stride, like you said, over the shoulder. It wasn't 7 yards over the middle. Like, oh, did he get it? He got it. Yeah, he got in. Great throw. You should be excited.
He had a lot of really nice throws, like throws over the middle, because he's got height too, so he can hit these guys over the middle. He had some good darts to the outside, had some really nice scrambles. It wasn't perfect, like there's little stuff like I was saying to the people who were watching the game with today, like when Brady showed up in 2001, one of the things that jumped out immediately was just how polished he was with like play action and keeping the ball on his side and pretending he hit, like just all these little things. It was like, man, this guy's really sharp. And May's the opposite. He's still seemed like a little clumsy and awkward with some of the stuff, but the arm is there and the legs are there. Like he raced out of town. He raced out of sacks a couple times today.
I would like to learn from you how it is to, remain giddy after your team loses by 20, because I can't do it. I mean, but you can. That's great.
Well, it's very happy. We need to be one of the 3 or 4 worst teams in the league, and clearly on pace. Not playing him last week really helped, right, against Miami. Now they're going to Jacksonville in London.
That's a fun one.
We'll see what happens.
Let me ask you this:
they're awful though. They're the worst team in the league. There's nobody worse than the Pats.
Oh, come on.
No, there's nobody worse than them. They have the worst team in the league.
We'll see next week. That is a battle. What's your immediate reaction when you hear he dated the same girl since he was 12?
To me, loyalty, and if he's good, that means we have him for 20 years. Loyal guy.
Oh, good. Okay.
But he did that in his press conference. He showed up and he's like, "These are my brothers. This is my girlfriend since 7th grade.
Yeah.
You get me, you get these people too, and this is who I am." Loyal guy.
You could say it, but then when
sports anymore,
when you see pictures, it's just weird. That's all. But no, it's great.
Like when they were 12. Yeah. Those pictures were floating around.
Well, she was 6 is the problem. No. They were both 12. No, they were both 12.
That's funny. Yeah, listen, at least there was some hope. The stands were pretty full. People were into it. People were booing when they were like running on stupid 3rd downs, but it's unclear if we even have a mediocre coach. So we're going to find out with that. And every time, it's weird when you watch these different coaches, I've never seen him talk to anyone else on the sideline during the games. They just show him and it's like he's in like a phone booth over on the side, just watching the game. It's just, there's some coaches that are like interactive with the people. Belichick would go and walk around and talk to people, and Mayo's just kind of looking around
Yeah.
And I don't know what he's looking at. It's certainly not the
Maybe,
defense because we're just getting destroyed.
we all have weirdo friends who like, oh, come on, watch the game with us. Like, no, I have to watch alone.
Oh, you
I
think he's one of
I
those
can't be
guys? Yeah,
bothered. He
maybe.
could just be one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't say I've been impressed in the beginning of the Mayo era, but I did
Yeah.
have the greatest coach of all time. And then the last highlight was Raven Seawards, which reminded me of the Better Biav Bivol fight, where
Yeah.
it was a really kind of fun battle to watch, but it also felt like it didn't hit its potential.
Good
Like there
comp.
was
Yep.
another version of Raven Seawards where it was like, holy shit, that game was fucking awesome. But it just felt like once the Ravens got up 7-10, it just felt like they were in control of the game and Henry could do whatever he wanted.
I think this was going in. I love the Ravens today, and it fell right on the number. I think they were by the time it kicked off, they were laying 7, and they won by 7. But this
Yep.
was a perfect spot for Washington to lose by 27, and you would have been like, okay, this is
Yeah.
just what happens to a young team like this. And they didn't. They fought. Is Jaden Daniels perfect on 4th down as a pro? Is he like 10 for 10 or something?
The precision of his passes,
Yeah.
everything's in the right spots. I feel like he makes the right decision almost all the time, and then the passes are delivered correctly. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's just really
Good for
good.
them. Good
Yeah,
for them for staying
and you
in
can
there.
tell even the players on the other team, like Lamar was raving about him after the game. With the guys he's going against, all rave about him after the game.
Mhm.
Like he clearly has it. I watched with House today, who he could barely keep his pants on. He gets so excited for
He's excited.
Daniels. Yeah, he's out of his mind. One more highlight from this. So how many rushing yards do you think Derrick Henry has this year?
I
He played
know
6
this because
games.
I bet him to have the most rushing yards in October. All right, let me think about this. He
Interesting
has
bet.
yeah. Oh, FanDuel's got it all. Through 6 games, he has 865.
Wow, you went high.
What is it?
704.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
No. He has more
That's
than 115 yards a game. You sure?
in 6 games? That's a lot of yards.
He
Some
had
pace for like almost
170, he had
2,000.
150 something.
He had a couple of 80s too.
Maybe you're right. All right.
Hold on, I'll look to make sure, but I think I'm right.
You're
'Cause
probably right.
I did.
I don't
He had
want to derail the
132
podcast.
today.
Yeah.
And then hold on, I'm looking it up. Yeah, 704.
Okay.
119 carries, 704 yards, and he's got 8 touchdowns.
He's good.
Derrick
Yeah, I
Henry.
mean,
And when they have a lead, if they feel unstoppable now, the lead.
That's it.
It was the opposite of the way they used to feel, right?
That's a difference, right? They don't close that game out last year at this time.
No.
Yeah.
No. And their pass defense looked a little bit better. So those were the highlights. We're going to take a break for the podcast. Stay here on YouTube, and then we're going to do the lowlights. All right, the lowlights. Hutchinson, just awful.
Bummer.
I don't think he was the best defensive front 4 guy in the league, but he was in the conversation with Watt was probably 1, Parsons when he's healthy, and I think Hutchinson was probably 3rd for me. Huge part of Detroit, and also an awful injury, which unfortunately they had the one replay. I was like, oh no, but really tough. That was our first major season ender of the year, right? That was our first bad injury.
I mean, if you don't count McCaffrey, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, you could say he's 3rd, but it was like number 1 in sacks. No one had as many sacks through like 3 games even, and then 4, and just brings it every play, And so, and is double teamed a lot, and the thing that all these defensive ends go through. But yeah, they're gonna miss him. That's a bummer of an injury.
Opens up the NFC a little bit
Mm-hmm.
because he's not coming back this year. Their defense was, I wouldn't say awesome. They look pretty good today, but your team's pretty one-dimensional. But
what? Take that. Don't listen. Don't say things you're gonna regret.
Last week looked a little shakier, but really tough one. So I don't know. I think I had KC first and Detroit second heading into this week, and I still feel that way. But Detroit is a little weaker, and I think heading into this NFC North gauntlet when they start playing each other, their pass rush is in there. That's going to be a weak spot.
Green Bay looks like it worked out great for Green Bay, right? I'm not even saying this injury, but it didn't take them 2 or 3 weeks to adjust to the league and Jordan Love and whatever came back. that was, I don't know if you had Arizona or not, but I was like, Arizona's at least good for a backdoor cover. That's what they live for, right?
Yeah.
Not even, they just didn't.
No.
Oh, Dobbs. Oh, he's not. What happened? I thought he was suspended. No, oh, he's back. He's catching touchdowns. And Jaden Reed's now all of a sudden a top 7 receiver, and they run the ball. They do it all.
And Christian Watson was like,
Yeah.
guys, I'm here to be on your bench in fantasy and make you really mad that you didn't
Right.
start me. And then you're going to start me next week and I'm going to go out of the game in the first quarter. That's like
That's the
Travis
guy.
Etienne today. It's like, do I
Yeah.
start him? Do I not start him? All right, fine. London game. I'll start him. Pulled hammy like 2 minutes in.
Fantasy's terrible.
Some guys, fantasy's the worst. I actually have some fantasy stuff later. All right, another low light, the Dallas home blowout. So I think this is the fourth
We
game.
talked about this. We're going to do this again?
We're talking
Go
more.
ahead.
This is like 4 times in recent history where what you were down 19 or more at halftime, like in the last calendar year.
Yeah,
including a playoff game.
That sounds right. Yep. Green Bay, Detroit, Baltimore. Who's the other terrible team? Good team we lost to?
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Who's not even
and New
good.
Orleans
They're
is
2-4
sickening. Now. I know. They beat us. They crushed us, and they crushed the Panthers.
I came on the pod that night. I was like, is there some 1999 Rams stuff going on? And 4 weeks later, Spencer Rattler, and they're giving up 100 points, and Olavi made it 5 minutes. Another concussion for him. But yeah, it looks like
yeah, I hate my team right now. And Jerry Jones was interviewed. Of course, can you believe he did an interview today?
I was shocked.
And he said 2 things. He said it was like a minute and a half long. He said, we have a bye coming up, but that's not enough time to right the ship. And then 10 seconds later, he said, but we're going to figure it all out during the bye week.
Perfect.
So, yeah, well, I can't, there's a lot of hope there.
It's very similar to the Saleh thing, though, where you just should have taken care of this 8-9 months ago. And then it's like, no, this year will be better. It just seems like it never works when teams do that.
I'm a little jealous of Woody Johnson that he knows when to pull the trigger. Like, I know if like the Cowboys had a coach that was 20 and 36, he'd be gone too. But Woody Johnson's like, hey, I'm old. This is ridiculous. We got to shake it up. I'm going to talk about the culture. And guess what? Because I can do something about it.
Jerry Jones is like, I'm not old. I'm eternal. I'm a young 83. I've got 20, 30 years left.
I think he believes it.
No urgency here. Well, I didn't think your team was good to begin with. I thought you should have lost the Pittsburgh game last week, and Dak was just superb. And Pittsburgh lost a couple pass rushers and blew a couple chances to whatever, and Dallas snuck that one out. But I don't think Dallas is very good.
I can't argue. I mean, what, I'm going to sit here and argue? They get bullied on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Yeah. Some of it has to do with the injuries, but also some of it looks like they're just not prepared for these games or don't care. All the bad stuff. Play the Blood Diamond theme again.
So if they fired McCarthy tomorrow and brought in Belichick, what's your reaction?
Oh, wow. Surprised, shot. So, I mean, the question is, it is the bye week. Do you do it now or do you wait till there's plenty of opportunities because we have the 49ers, the Falcons, the Eagles, the Texans, and at Commanders. He can go any time in there, but do you do it now? I would be surprised, but I would think it was a step in the right direction. Whereas last year, I wouldn't think so.
You know what's funny about this?
No,
I got to turn down Blood Diamond. They always say like, no, you can't do it in football. You can't bring somebody in. It's too hard. There's all these systems in place. It's got to be an interim coach. It's got to be somebody in the building. Mm-hmm. It's like, does it? Because other option is just don't fire McCarthy and the team's just a mess, or you just keep Robert Saleh and your team's a mess, or you keep Doug Peterson in London for another week. So he's talking about the culture, which he's in charge of.
Right.
Like at some point, maybe anybody's better.
Yeah.
In basketball, they'll bring in fucking anybody. That Milwaukee brought in Doc Rivers out of nowhere last year. Mm-hmm. They were like, fuck it. But in football, they seem to be more hesitant because of the systems. But it just seems like you could bring somebody in who could oversee. I guess Indianapolis tried this with Jeff Saturday and it didn't work. But Jeff Saturday is also not a coach. But I still feel like I find it hard to believe Belichick wouldn't be more of an asset the rest of the season than McCarthy.
You know what I was hoping with Belichick? I'm like, all right, McCarthy, let's give him credit. They won 12 games a year for the last 3 years. That's pretty damn good. So he makes it to the playoffs, and then they're terrible. For whatever reason, they're bad. Why don't teams do this more? Why couldn't we hire a Belichick as a consultant, like for
The
the
Pats did
playoffs.
this in 1996. They hired Belichick as a consultant with
So
Parcells
smart.
just for like
Yeah.
4 months. Yeah.
Let's see your game plan. Okay, here's what I would do different. Here's what, like, every team should do this. Like, it should be a mad scramble to hire the best just to come in and oversee and look like when Jimmy hosts the Oscars, he runs his jokes by Billy Crystal, right? And guys who have
Right.
done it before and done great at it. Like, so that's the best I was hoping for McCarthy. Like, maybe they could do something like that. Now we're not even going to get to that. So
Counter. Cleveland did this with Mike Vrabel, and I think you're seeing the results. Vrabel's like,
Oh.
I think you should stick with Deshaun. He probably just
Yeah.
wants
that was
everyone to
bad.
get fired.
Yeah. I mean, it's backfired
No.
too. I think the Eagles brought in Fangio, right, for the defense.
I like
before
it.
the Chiefs
I don't
game.
know why, but why
Yeah.
wouldn't you do it? These are all like multi-billion-dollar businesses, right?
Yeah,
You pay,
right.
They Belichick like $2 million a year. Belichick is on 8 shows and podcasts. Like, I'm
Of
pretty sure he
course.
would take the paycheck.
Pull them away in December and January. Yeah.
So the Jags are a fiasco. We talked about them earlier as one of the lowlights, but they're 1-5. There's a Trevor Lawrence conversation that we've had a couple times, but I wanted to have a little more detail because he is now 21-35 for his career. The extension was scary, but then much like the Jags, we talked ourselves into the Jags and Trevor Lawrence before the season.
Right.
I have bets on him for 4,000 yards. I had him in 2 fantasy leagues. They were 8-3 last year. There was this whole case. He was injured. Now he's healthy. They beefed up both sides of the ball. The AFC South, other than Houston, not good. And he's been worse. So I was like, all right, he's 21-35 in his career. It's 55 games. How many guys have started at least 55 games, but won less than 25? Right? Because it's hard to look this stuff up. Well, it's a 9-person list, and here's that list. And it goes in order of 21-25 wins. Trevor Lawrence, Tim Couch, David Carr, Josh McCown, Rick Mirer, Daniel Jones, Blake Bortles, Charlie Batch, and Josh Freeman.
Wow.
The 9 quarterbacks. And the
Good
worst
work by you. Yeah.
The worst one of all those was David Carr was 23-56. Josh McCown was 23-53, but that's just an awful list. I mean, I was shocked.
Yeah, it is.
I was like, is there anybody good on this list? Daniel Jones, kind of, sort of. They went 9-8, maybe.
But all those guys were top 3 paid as far as quarterbacks, right? At some point.
Yeah. Well, the teams. Well, no, but some of those guys were paid because teams were kind of like, fuck, what do we do? All right, we'll pay him 1 more year. Like Bortles got paid, remember?
Yeah. I think we're getting credit though for pumping the brakes on Trevor Lawrence, even though we may have picked him to win the division or
where
the
you and I are
this
getting
year.
credit.
You and I are. I saw
Really?
some people
The
like,
credit
like
police are
Simmons and
giving us
Sauer in
credit?
this. We're
Wow.
getting a little credit. It's a rare that we should take it. I'm going to recommend we take it.
Wow. Blake Bortles started 73 games. He had 103 touchdowns and 75 picks. And Lawrence has started 55. He has 64 touchdowns and 41 picks. Like, when you see all these numbers, it's pretty alarming. And then when you watch the games, he just makes dumb plays at bad times. Like, he had that awful interception today at midfield, right as the game was slipping away from them. The body language seems weird from a leadership standpoint. I just haven't seen it at all. And I really
does
wonder.
Does he take off as much as he used to? Or when I remember the first 2 years
like he does.
You feel like he
today.
does?
He had a play where I don't feel like he does.
No,
he had
I
a play
know. He
today
runs
where
like 3 or 4
off.
times. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, holy shit, this guy's fast.
That's huge. It's you know, I don't know. It's a little bait and switch. Like, what happened to that? I know you want to extend your career because you're making so much money for every year you stay in the league. But if you can't stretch these first downs when the rest of your team has like 51 yards rushing, it's no good.
It's really tough because they extended him. They probably could have just, played a little, kind of did a little bit like what Dallas did with Dak and at least taken it through the season, or could have franchise tagged him. But they extended him on the promise of what he could be over anything he'd actually done. And yet, as I said, both you and I fell for it too. Like, we both thought he was going to have a pretty good year this year, and he's been.
And you got Flacco right in at this division to make everyone look stupid too, right?
Right. Yeah, just Flacco, by the way, 2 touchdowns in 8 straight games.
Wow.
Joe Flacco.
He threw a bad ball today, and I was shocked.
Right.
I was like, oh,
oh my God, Joe.
Not Joe Flacco. Like, yeah.
Another low light from today. Calvin Ridley, 8
Yeah.
targets, 0 catches. Wonder what the
Do
record
you?
is for most targets not
Wow.
catching the ball. 8's pretty
Hmm.
high. Like, has anybody gotten over 10?
Do you have him in? I have him on 2 fantasy
I don't. I stayed
teams,
away. It's
and I
because of
see
Will
that
Levis.
name. I'm like, wow, that's a pretty big name for him to be so far on my reserves. There's no way I could put him in.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I remember the Pats went after him, and
Mhm.
I think he chose Tennessee over the Pats. And one of the reasons was because he said there were taxes and there was something,
Yeah.
that was basically it. And then Ayuk didn't want to come here because the Pats didn't have a quarterback. But Ridley chose to go to Tennessee,
He
and
wasn't
now
talking about the Levis tax,
I know,
because that's a bad tax. I don't know
right?
which candidate is going to enforce that, but he's actually fun to watch. Levis, so bad, that bad.
One last low light from today, not to talk about your fantasy team, our fantasy team, our knockout league where I'm 0-5. I don't ever remember having a fantasy team that started out 0-5. It's pretty
Mhm.
impossible. And today I had a chance to win my first
Let's see.
game, and it was looking great. And I was going against Ham's team that had Chase Brown. And Chase Brown
Oh
right at the end
no,
of the game gets a touchdown. So now he's got this 13-point lead on me. Now I need 13 and a half points from Garrett Wilson to avoid
you could
going
maybe do it.
0-6.
Yeah.
And Sal, I got to change the culture with this fantasy
Oh, is that what
team.
you're gonna do?
Yeah, I'm gonna change the culture. I'm gonna waive some guys. I'm gonna trade some guys. I just don't like the way the
Oh,
guys have responded. Some of it's on me, obviously, because I picked every guy in the team, but the
okay.
culture of the team I don't really like. But
Can you
yeah, it's
change your team name to Billy Middleseat?
I probably could.
Do it.
So can I get 13 points from Garrett Wilson? 13 and a half? Can I do that?
Yeah, I think didn't he have like 11 catches or 12 catches last week?
Yeah.
He's back in sync, I think.
So then the other fantasy thing in the guillotine league
Hmm.
that somehow we've survived, but we had Travis Etienne today who
Ugh.
pulled his hammy. I don't even think I hadn't even sat down. Rich Eisen hadn't even made his first bad joke yet. And all of a sudden Etienne's on the sidelines. So now we had Chase Brown in that league, so it actually helped us. So now I need like 14 points from Brees Hall. But in this league, touchdowns count for more. So I
Mhm.
need Jets scoring tomorrow
Oh,
from
Brees
the two
Hall.
guys who have murdered everybody all year against Buffalo. And I'm weirdly confident.
So this is the guillotine league. As long as you're not in last place,
As long as you're
you
not in last
survive,
place.
and you'll go. It's an 18 league team because
Now
every week,
there's 12
and now
left.
down to 12 after this. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you. Oh,
So I need
I
Brees
gotta say,
Hall, who was our first pick.
yeah.
I think we had the second pick in the whole draft, and he's done jack shit all year, and now he needs to save the day for us.
I don't know
The
if you
guillotine leagues
deserve
are
to
great.
advance with Brees Hall and Etienne as your running backs. I don't know. I think I've heard enough.
Well, we picked up Etienne because Chase Brown had the red flag all week.
Right. That's all right.
And then
Yeah.
anyway, um,
All right. Well, good luck. Yeah. The
listen,
guillotine's the best. I love it.
I bring this
Absolutely love
up.
it.
I bring this up to make the following point. Fantasy continues to find new ways to make me feel terrible about myself. 0-6 is like we're in a league where our friend Brad, who drank like 15 sodas while eating candy and then took 8 running backs in an 18 player, and he's beating
Yeah.
me. He took 8
Right.
running backs out of 18 guys. He's beating me. I'm the
Yeah.
one that's 0-6 potentially.
By the way, the 0-6 thing is 0-6 is special because you went out there and called people out for trading with 0-6 teams. So I have people asking me, like, is Bill untrade? You can't trade with him if he goes 0-6,
I
right?
wouldn't trade if I'm 0-6. I would have traded last week because I
Yeah.
feel like you're 0-5. In our league, you probably need to go 7-6 and you can advance or whatever it is. 7-7 might make it, but
Yeah, I think
0-6
eight and
is
six. Okay.
yeah. 0-6,
You
I
gotta
would have
stick
to
to your
basically
word.
run the slate, right?
I think 8-6. Oh yeah, yeah. That's a
I'd have
you
to
would.
go
Yeah.
8-0 or 7-1. My team
It's
sucks
good.
anyway. I made some mistakes, Sal.
You have Etienne on that team too. Enough with Etienne. Why do you have him
Kenneth
everywhere?
Walker, he's hurt my feelings. DJ
Yeah.
Moore, 2 points today. Garrett Wilson.
We don't have to talk
Dak
about your
Prescott,
quarterback.
5 points
Oh,
today.
oh yeah, yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. I just saw that.
Well, today I started Dak over Baker Mayfield and Caleb, so that went great.
Mm.
All right, AFC playoff picture really quick. KC's 5-0 and Houston's 5-1. Baltimore and Pittsburgh are 4-2. Buffalo and the Chargers are 3-2. Nobody else is over 500. We only have 6 over 500 teams. NFC, Minnesota's 5-0, Detroit's 4-1. 5 teams are 4-2. Philly's 3-2. So the NFC is just better this year, I guess, is the legacy of this season so far, right? Except for your division.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, the Ravens are good, right? Chiefs are good. Texans, we think, are good. The Bills, I still think, will be solid. I'm looking at these numbers, though, for Super Bowl, and I know we're going to give out 500 teams between now and week 18. The Packers at 20-1 is interesting. I feel like they're in a groove. I think they're in a little bit of a groove. Get them going, young defense, ball hawking. They run the ball, kind of do it all.
I was looking at the MVP where Mahomes is sitting there at 3-1, even though would you say he's even having, this is probably the worst Mahomes year he's had?
Yeah, it's like 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Yeah, it's not good.
I just traded for him in our fantasy league or the keeper league. The Lamar second.
So it's about to get worse for him, is what you're saying.
Yeah, probably. CJ Stroud plus 550 third. Purdy's 10-1. Josh is 11-1. Daniels is 13-1. I personally think Stroud has been the MVP so far. Especially like he's never had 3 of those receivers for an entire game, I don't think. Now Nico's out for 4 games. Didn't really matter today. They went through the Pats, but he's so good. We were like marveling at him today. There was especially in the first half, there was a few times we just thought we had him or we were pressuring him or we're making him scramble. He's going to throw the ball away. And then he's just really, really, really good. So he'd have my vote at plus 650, but
he's excellent.
Or 550. I don't know if the odds are good enough to bet on that yet. For Purdy 10-1, I'd probably like those odds the most. If you think San Francisco wins the division.
I know we flip flop. I'm done. I promise I'm done flip flopping on Purdy. He's good. I like him. He's at least very good in that system. And 10-1's a nice number.
Is Mayfield at 22-1 insane to at least discuss?
He's so crazy.
The team's 4-2, and his stats are nuts.
Yeah.
He might throw for like 4,500 yards and 45 TDs this year.
Right. What place can he come in the NFC South and still win it?
Well, I think he'd have to win the NFC South. Right. And he'd have to be probably the 2 seed. That's how he would get it.
Yeah, you can't win the NFC South at 9-8 and win it. Right.
Offensive Rookie of the Year, Daniels is minus 190 right now, and Caleb's plus 155, and that feels like a 2-horse race. My apologies to all the Bo Nix Rookie of the Year bets. I think you can rip those up. And
he's such a weird. I'm trying to figure him out, and as a go Ducks. But again, fourth quarter, he looks like a whole different quarterback. He really is. Like, it's like, what the hell is going on here? Like, if
he needs to be down 23 to feel
and he's zipping it and he's running 15 yards for first downs. And like, where was this? Like, your kid is failing geometry, and then he does some extra credit and, like mops up the class. And like, wait a minute, you have a C+ now? That's Bo Nix after his fourth quarter, like 236 yards, whatever.
Taking 25
a break at half. Yeah.
Taking a break for the pod, coming back with a little more on the week 6. All right. So quickly, just some notes I had from these games. Your team is minus 40 for the season now. Were you aware of this?
I don't know. I'm going to kill you. We're not done talking about my team.
I wrote that down.
Yeah. Well, they've gotten killed 3 times, so that'll do it. Yeah.
Steelers took care of business against the Raiders and really could be 6-0 when you think back to that Dallas game, and then the fact that they had the ball down 3 against Indianapolis, and the snap hit Fields in the helmet, and all of a sudden it was like 2nd and 28. Fields was bad today. And you kind of had to watch the game. I'm sure there's going to be a way to spin it. No, he wasn't that bad. Fields was bad. And it feels like he's getting worse by the week. And some of it is Pickens hasn't been really good either, and they don't really have a second receiver. But he had just a horrible interception called back by this really dubious roughing the passer penalty that, by the way, was literally no different than Brian Burns and Burrow. I have no idea how they decide which one of those is versus isn't roughing the passer, but I just thought he was bad, and I was wondering if they're just better off with Wilson just being like a C plus, and that's
What do you
it.
think he'll do different? You think he'll throw? Because the Wilson we saw last year, I'm with you to make the change. I'm like, what are they? They're giving these guys $1.5 million each, so you might as well just
Yeah,
put them in every 3 plays. Who cares until you get it right? But what do you actually think he'll do different? He'll throw downfield better because he probably won't run with it better than Fields. So he'll just connect downfield. I felt like he
yeah. I
checked
think
down a lot with Denver, but
my fear with Fields is just that it just feels he's feeling way more turnovery the last couple games.
yeah.
And it just feels like balls are starting to hit his pass or hands are starting to hit his passes more. And
Mhm.
I ended up betting on them today. I didn't have them for $1 million picks, but I was just super nervous every time he went back to pass. So
I
I
was,
don't know what they
yeah.
do with that because they're 4-2. Like, they have a real chance to either win the division or be a 6 or a 7 seed. And I don't know. I don't
I
know what
think
they
there's a
do.
little bit of an arrogance. I think it's much like aside from the Moss years, it's like when Belichick wouldn't get a receiver for
Right.
Brady. That's what Tomlin's doing. It's like, well,
I'm going to win with.
I'm gonna win without a quarterback or without a big name quarterback. You watch. This will be on me. I think there's
Well,
a
so
similar thing. They like it.
there's two moves. Like they could make a Devontae Adams play, which
Mhm.
they only have one receiver really and the tight end, and Najee Harris was good today. But
Yeah.
the other move would be if New Orleans decided they saw enough from Rattler that maybe Carr is available. And maybe you
Mm.
could talk yourself into Carr being a better version of Russell Wilson.
Hmm.
You know, that's all I can think of though. There's not really any other like there's the Jimmy Garoppolo types are out there, but it's nobody that's going to be at least with Fields. You could do stuff with his legs, which they started to figure out as today's game went on with Vegas. Some design scrambles and some QB draws and things like that. But
That's the difference, right? That's
yeah,
why he makes it up. So he could throw for 145 in a winning effort somehow with a great defense, but he's got to run for almost 60. And you don't get that from Carr. But
who do you think has the bleakest quarterback situation right now? I will give you the Raiders, Tennessee, Miami, Denver, and Cleveland. The
Cleveland,
Cleveland, right? Okay, so who's
yeah.
second?
Right.
Who feels
Uh,
second worst about their QBs right now?
I think Miami, because you can't with a straight face say that Tua is going to come back and be Tua of last year, I guess, is the best Tua year,
Yeah,
right? I don't know. Who would you say second?
Raiders. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
that's
basically
not
like
good either.
moving deck chairs in the Titanic. Like, we took Minshew out. Here's O'Connell. It's like, oh, he's terrible too.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, it's like Minshew's back. He knows the offense better, and they're just moving people around who are just bad. Those guys
Yeah,
are
it's bad.
they're not starting quarterbacks.
I mean, I don't know. You want to say Carolina too, or do we count
No,
Andy
because I
Dalton
think
as the winner?
I would take Dalton over every
So weird.
Raiders, Tennessee, Miami, Denver, Cleveland. I would have Dalton over all of those guys, right? At least he can move the
I
team
think
down.
you're right. I mean, even if the question is 3 years from now, it might still be Dalton better than O'Donnell or Connell. Yeah, it's I don't know.
Also, like best facial hair he's had, I think.
Right.
Really strong.
Yeah, it's
He's
good.
looking very red rockety. Falcons beat the Panthers. We can skip that. Chargers beat the Broncos. Chargers, some good stuff from them today. They were at one point they were 11 for 15 on third down, first 3 quarters, I think. But their defense, I think, is good. I don't think it was just Bo Nix not looking great. And
Mhm.
I actually think the Chargers might have a good defense. So I'm keeping an eye on them. We'll talk about
That
it
was
when we
my
get to
best
the
bet
lines.
today,
Yeah,
and
well,
I
you and I
love
had that. Not a lot of people
yeah,
did.
and I normally don't like to buy early, but this team was so banged up, and with Joe
Yep.
Alt and everybody, I was like, Herbert needs that ankle to, and I'm like, I'm gonna be so effing mad if this is a push with Denver scoring at the end, and then Peyton did the beautiful thing, kicking that field goal with a
Oh,
minute
yeah.
left. Giants tried it too, but that guy can't kick, so it didn't matter. But
Can we talk
that
about
was
this
just a
for this
blessing.
is a passion point for me.
Yeah.
So Giants today, they're down 10. There's 56 seconds left, first down,
Mhm.
and it's like the 28-yard line. And they
Yeah.
hustle the field goal guy out. You need a touchdown or a field goal. You have to take 3 shots at the end zone from that spot. It's like
28-yard
six,
line. Is that what
seven
you said? Yeah.
seconds. That's going to be 20 seconds total. Take 3 shots. It's like a great pseudo Hail Mary spot, right? See if you can get the touchdown. Kicking the field goal. Now you're just kind of hoping to get near that spot to try Hail Marys again. Why not try
What
them
you're gonna
there?
do anyway.
Maybe you'll hit the first one. You have 50 seconds left. Teams, they never get it right.
I'm with you. I think the one thing you can't do is trot your guy out there for a 46-yarder who just missed a field goal.
Yeah, right.
Like
Ice
that's not a
cold, has
chip
no idea he's
shot.
going to kick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Like
easy.
I know guys are nailing 57 yarders, but your guy isn't. So at least run one more play and get 8 yards,
Right.
take 6 seconds off. So
Eagles, Browns. Forgot to mention the Blackjack Browns. We've talked about this every week. 16 today. So their hands this year so far 17, 18, 15, 16, 13, 16. This is an amazing streak. Every game they've played has been between 13 and 18 points scored.
yeah.
It's got to be close to some sort of weird record.
Well,
If that's just their range.
By the way, there's a defensive, I could speak from experience. I had the Browns under 16 and a half. And so when they got that block kick return for a touchdown, I'm like, son of a bitch, this is the only way. Can FanDuel please put up just offensive points? Can we bet an over under on offensive points and not bullshit with kick returns?
Like
everything else.
Oh, like actual points scored by the offense?
I'll pay extra vig. I knew they weren't scoring 16, but I had to sweat that out.
Texans, Pats. So Mixon was back. And this was a Joe House point from a couple weeks ago that I'm stealing. Like the way they built this team, Mixon was a big part of it. Now they lost Nico Collins. He was going to be the deep threat part of it, but they wanted to be this power running team, and you could see it today against the Pats. So I thought that was notable. Packers, Cards. You mentioned the Cards earlier. I just think they're an official stay away from me now. I don't want any part of a game. I don't want to pretend I know what's going to happen with them. I don't think they know what's going to happen. They beat San Francisco by 9 last week. They got murdered by Green Bay. I just think they're that team this year. They're the Costanza spotting dimes, eating onions team. That's the team this year. Just don't pretend you know anything that's going to happen with them, because they don't know either.
I'm with you. But they played the Chargers, who's exactly the same way in the AFC. So this week,
Bucks beat the Saints. Somehow I had Tampa. I vowed not to bet on the NFC South, and somehow I had Tampa in a bet today. And but I hate that division.
Good job by you. No, you know what? I wanted to stay away too, but I like them in the second half. I'm like, they're an underdog to win. They were down 3 going no minute left in the first quarter. Yeah.
So the Colts won. They're 3-3. Their next 6 games: home Miami next week. They could be 4-3. At Houston, at Minnie, home Buffalo, at the Jets, home Detroit. So my guess is they win next week. And it's like the Colts 4-3 with Richardson. And then I could see them losing the next 5 and going from 4-3 to 4-8. Because I don't think that team's very good.
I don't either. I'm rooting for him though. I want Flacco to bring every team to the playoffs, mine being the last one in 2031.
All right. Are you ready to guess the lines?
I think so. I got to win at something. Come on.
How many weeks in a row have I won?
It's a lot. I think I only won the first and we tied. So you're up 4-1-1.
Today's Guess the Lines brought to you by Workday. Get the whole band together with Workday and pair finance and HR on one platform for an epic performance. With Workday AI at the core, you'll make confident decisions faster than ever. You'll drive flawless business and finance operations with an agile platform that constantly evolves to future-proof your organization. You could even have a great culture like the Jaguars and Doug Peterson.
Is that right?
Wow. Be a finance and HR rockstar with Workday. Visit workday.com to learn more. So Thursday night. This is really when sports goes a little haywire. When we have these baseball games that have these increasing importance. We have the Thursday night football. We have basketball about to start. Now WNBA finals, which I actually care about. I forgot to tell you this.
Yeah.
We replaced Atlanta, Carolina on one of the 4 TV screens with
you did.
Yeah.
The Liberty
second
Lynx?
half of Liberty Lynx. It was the most important moment they're saying ever for the WNBA. Some people say it was Caitlin Clark getting drafted. Others say it was when they replaced an NFL game on my TV on a Sunday.
You switching it over. Wow.
I just switched it over. We watched the second half.
Well, the Panthers Falcons had no right being a late afternoon game. I was like,
that was the case. It's like, why is
Yeah.
this game a late? Like,
Yeah.
this game shouldn't be on now. So I don't feel bad.
You know what else had no right being late afternoon? The WNBA finals.
I know.
Put it on Saturday and Monday, whatever. Come on.
Well, there was, so they have all this I did some digging. They had all this pre-done ABC stuff, but I think they know they have to fix this. Their counter to it though is that the counter programming, the overlap isn't as big as you would allegedly think.
If they have
That it's
data supporting that, God bless them. But
I the point is you want people like us who are just going to
yeah,
watch football if there's 4 good football games, even if we have money on the links. I went to game 1 of the WNBA. By the way, that was awesome. That game 1,
yeah.
that was an awesome sporting event. I couldn't believe it. It was so good. Their fans were great. The Liberty fans, like they're like really, literally great fans, like knowledgeable. They're calling out like illegal screens and like that, like real diehard fans. And there was great drama. There's good shot
The game
making.
was awesome, right? Like
Yeah.
there's a crazy call at the end and
The
this
skill of the
layups.
players. I know they were the best in the world really for the whatever, but the shot making and the skill that they have now is pretty nuts. The slash and kick, it was
Yeah.
really good. Um, but I had a great time, and then the Liberty won today, so now it's a best of 3 basically. But the next 2 are
We have the
amazing.
links. Come on, links. Get it
We
together.
game 3 is probably the hedge.
You think so?
I do, because the
Let's see
fact that
what's
the
going on.
Liberty were up by I think 15 plus in both games is a bad sign. I never like having the team that fell behind by 15 in each game in the first 2 games.
The hedge is
But
Liberty's favored, by 3.
in game 3,
Mm-hmm.
well, maybe we ride the links.
Yeah. All right. I mean, that's opposite of a hedge, but yeah. Yeah. I'll go with that.
Ride the links. Maybe we hedge game 4. Hope they win game 3. That's the move. The move was to hedge today with the Liberty, but the line wasn't good enough. All right. We're distracting everybody from guess the lines. Thursday night, Saints home for the Broncos. This was the Spencer Rattler Bo Nix game everybody's been dying for really since the draft last April. What do you think of Spencer Rattler, just out of curiosity?
I was excited from the beginning, but like I said, I bet Tampa in the second half. I'm like, I don't know.
But did you think he was competent? Like, what was your takeaway?
Yeah, I thought he was fine, but they got some weird. They had good field position for much of that first half, right? Like there was some Baker turned it over a couple times. I think they had a block kick in there, so I was trying to be calm about. I know it's exciting when a new quarterback steps up, but
I didn't think he had deer in the headlights.
No.
I thought he could move, and I actually thought he had pretty good moves when he was in the open field. Like he's not like going into a slide. Like he was trying to juke people and get by people.
Yeah.
His passes little erratic, but somewhat smooth. I didn't think he was bad. My takeaway was like that guy's not a starter. Like I didn't feel that way at all. I felt like it's probably a low end starter.
It's just fine. Yeah. Can I just say something though? I feel like I don't know if you saw this past Thursday, but they were promoting this Denver New Orleans game. And in the graphic, can you guess who was in the graphic? I know you said like Rattler and Knicks, but you want to guess?
Alvin Kamara and Sean Payton.
Very close.
Who was
Sean Payton and Cam Jordan? I love when they put the coach in there. I love
Sean Payton and Cam Jordan.
And Cam Jordan, the incomparable Cam Jordan. I mean, he's a great player, but I almost feel like they should give you a little money off if they're putting the coach in the graphic, matching up the teams.
Now my computer is saying it needs my battery charger.
Oh,
so
you see?
I'm gonna throw the Sunday marquee Chiefs.
Wait, we didn't guess.
Game.
We didn't guess this Denver thing. Oh, God.
Oh, we didn't. Did we guess Saints? We didn't guess Saints Broncos.
No.
I have Saints by 3 over the Broncos.
Ooh, I had 1 and it's 1.5. And so if you run out of battery, I win. Guess the lines, right?
That's stupid.
I just got to wait. Bleed the clock here, Simmons. Here we go.
Saints. I'm sorry. Chiefs at the 49ers is our Sunday marquee game.
Definitely.
But before we get to that, do you want to just kill time and do your 5 favorite Mets as I go get my charger really quick?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Do your 5 favorite Mets from 5 to 1.
I don't know if I have any after tonight. All right. Piazza, Seaver, Doc, Lee Mazzilli. That goes to the 70s, I think. And I may have to say Lenny. He's off the rails, but Lenny's number 5.
Give me the recap. Who was it?
It was Piazza, Lee Mazzilli, Seaver.
Piazza's
Doc.
number 1?
No. I mean, we're going in order. I
Okay.
gotta figure it out. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. I gotta recharge my batteries here.
Good ad. I have the Chiefs favored at the 49ers. Chiefs by 1.5.
That's exactly what I had. But they have 49ers by 1.5.
Oh,
Make sure that
I'm
hasn't changed.
shocked. Wow.
I'm really surprised too.
Wow.
Like, can you do that? Can you have Chiefs to win the Super Bowl? Can you have Mahomes to win MVP for all the top of your odds boards, but then have the 49ers as a favorite? 3-3.
I don't need to look this up. Mahomes' record when he's an underdog by between like 1 and 4 points is like 120-2.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think there's been like a better, more fun bet over the years than that, right?
I don't think there's any doubt that you're putting the Chiefs in a teaser and just waiting to see who we could throw them in with.
See, now John Ewing or that, yeah, we like John Ewing. John Ewing could be like, I heard Bill say that Mahomes he's 4-7 when he's between 4 points.
It'll be a better than 120.
And I'll feel stupid. Man, 49ers favored. It's a lot of respect for a 3-3 team that really could have lost to Seattle last week.
Well, this is the Super Bowl chip on the shoulder game, I guess. Maybe. That's the only way to do it.
I like 49ers first half Chiefs game. The bet that I've been clamoring for FanDuel. They wanted me to tweet out one today, and I did the Cousins House special for the Steelers game. I thought we had it. Yeah, Vegas first half Steelers game. It was 7-1.
I know. Was that when Fields scored and ruined it? Yeah,
that'll hit at some point. It was 7-6. I was like, this is perfect. They're doing by 20.
Yeah, I have it every week.
Watchables. We have 3. The first one's really good. Packers Texans is a nice one. That's in Green Bay. I'm excited to watch it. 2 teams that I like how they're playing. 2 well-coached teams. 2 teams with fun quarterbacks. 2 teams that can occasionally look awesome running the ball. 2 teams that occasionally look like they can have an awesome pass rush. And I have the Packers favored by 2.
That's what I had. It's 2.5.
Oh,
it's right there.
Next one, Falcons home for the Seahawks. Seahawks started out 3-3 and another 3-3.
I got this exactly.
Well, I did too, because this one seemed pretty obvious to me. I had the Falcons by 2.5 against Seattle.
What? Why was that obvious?
What was it?
You did get it. You did get it exactly.
Because it wasn't going to be 3.
3 is the one you say, oh, it's obvious. It's 3.
Well, 2.5 is the new 3.
I guess so. Yeah.
It's like they used to be 3, and then it started taking peptides, and now it's dropped down to 2.5. Yeah, the peptides have changed everything. Everything's thinner. Last one is, I feel like I've watched a lot of Falcons this year, by the way.
Yeah.
And once a game, Kyle Pitts is wide open for like 40 yards. And then he's like a cat, so he just runs away and you don't ever see him again. Like, what happened to Kyle Pitts? I don't know. I think he's outside. He saw a mouse and he's gone. But once a game, he's just wide open. Nobody near him.
This could be, I know the records are fine, 4-2 against 3-3, but this could be the ultimate stay away. I mean, good luck trying to figure out. Seattle's defense is really bad the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, something scary about betting on the Falcons is when they're favored. Yeah. And I don't know what it is. Even today against the Panthers, which they ended up taking care of business. But even that game, they're like, oh, God, here they go.
Yeah, they're going to win 21-20.
Stupid Falcons game.
Right.
Last watchable is Lions at the Vikings. Now, some would say, why isn't this the Sunday marquee game? But 49ers Chiefs, that's a Super Bowl rematch. I mean, come on. Yeah. So Lions Vikings, awesome game, classic game. It's in Minnesota, and they're not going to be favored even though they're 5-0. It's going to be Lions by 1.5 is my prediction.
All right, I'm going to get this, even though I was off too. I said Lions by 1. It's Vikings by 1.5.
Whoa!
All right, so you have your teaser. Go get it. Detroit, Kansas City, the road teams.
I'm just betting the Lions straight up. All due respect to the great people of Minnesota, but the Lions have not caught up with the Lions yet. 3 weeks in a row, where even the game today, I don't know, the 3 points was, how are they only 3-point favorites against Dallas without, the injuries you guys have had, the fact that you can't run the ball and that you fall behind every other game.
Well, that's maybe the case against them. Like, does that screw up a team after they play a dreadful, just hideous asshole team like the Cowboys, maybe they just can't then the next game is on the road against Minnesota. They can't adjust.
Do you want to tape a hypothetical video? We'll just bank it in case McCarthy gets fired tomorrow and they hire Bill Belichick or somebody.
Is it just me laughing?
No, it's like, all right, this is a futuristic timestamp. We're taping this 9:28 Pacific time Sunday. Sal, the Cowboys just fired Mike McCarthy. I can't believe it. What's your reaction?
Wow. Well, first of all, I had no idea Jerry Jones had died. I mean, I feel like you would have led with that first. So Stephen Jones stepped in there and hired the old man Belichick. But
he did.
Rest in peace, Jerry. We're gonna do great things. Coach Belichick, the greatest that ever was, is gonna lead this team to a Super Bowl that you'll unfortunately not see because you're clearly not around for this.
It's an emotional time for me because I love Belichick. And it's always fun to root against Dallas, but now Belichick's coaching the Cowboys, and I'm going to want him to do well.
Love it. Throw it in the ball.
Scene. All right, throw that, Kyle. Cut that out just in case. Fairly watchables. By the way, Brady said something during that Lions game. I don't know if you caught it. He said something that was like, "Whoa!" He was raving about their offense, and he had a quote. And I heard it in real time, and then I think it became a little bit of a thing online. But
he likes their culture.
No, that would have been. He was talking about the Jaguars' culture. He was really envious of it. No, he was basically talking about their offense. He was like, "I would love to be in charge of an offense like that." I still think Brady's sitting there for like San Francisco, the Chiefs, or the Lions. If any of their quarterbacks got down, I think he's on the first plane. It's like, what about the Raiders deal? Done. No, forget it. Screw the Raiders. Like, he's back. He posted a workout photo the other day. He's like in the greatest shape he's been in, it seems like. I just feel like he's in hibernation. He's like in a fire extinguisher case. In case of emergency, GOAT quarterback available.
Do you think everything's a diversion? You might be right. Like the broadcasting, everything's like just a decoy to get I'm gonna own this team.
It's just a super weird thing to say. Like Aikman wouldn't say that.
Right. Yeah.
Like Aikman would be like, man, I would love to be in a charge of a team like that. It'd be like, he would never say that because he's fucking retired. Brady said it in a way that it's clear he hasn't like totally given up playing football yet. You don't say that unless you still want to, at least a piece of you wants to play football.
Well, Romo called the Commanders the Redskins today. So I feel like he wants to play too. He definitely seems like he wants to go back.
Because he thought it was 2013.
Yeah, he wants to go back.
Yeah, that's good. I couldn't find that thing. All right, next, fairly watchables.
Did you miss that there's a London game?
I have it right here.
Oh, okay. So
I didn't want to talk about Jags Pats coming out of the gate. I wanted to bury it in the middle of Guess the Lines. Fairly watchables because Drake Maye is now fairly watchable for the rest of my life.
I'd bump it up, man. I'm excited. I'm actually excited to wake up for this one.
All right, let's move it up to the watchables then. Fine. I mean, the best part would be if Lawrence sucked again and Mac Jones came in.
Sure.
And it was Mac Jones against Drake Maye. I don't know what I would do at 8 a.m. Pacific time with my coffee not even kicking in.
Might be earlier than that. Yeah.
I have this in the Vegas zone. I have Jags -5 against the Patriots in London.
You're going to steal this from me. I had 3.5. It is 4.5. Maybe you are the worst team. That's a high number for a bad favorite.
I'll tell you this, the Pats culture on their sideline is going to make Doug Peterson feel better about his culture. It's like, is anyone alive over there? What's going on?
It's a culture
they start
clash.
the game today. It's Drake May's first game. They announced it on a Tuesday for reasons that remain unclear, right? Let's remove all the mystery. Fans are fired up. Kyle showed up before 10 o'clock at my house for the first time, I think, ever. And it's like, here we go. We get the ball. 2 awful runs into 8 guys, setting up the 3rd and 9 so he could sail it out of bounds because he's under pressure. It's like we had all week. Those were our 3 plays. Nothing. Could have come up with one special wrinkle for Drake May's first series. That's what we're going to do. It's just an abysmal.
Yeah, it's like leading with the song that's off the new album that no one's heard. Right.
Right.
Just
like,
come on. Throw
How
in a
about
hit.
a play
Nice
action
cover.
rollout? How about somebody in motion, a quick pass, like something to just get him going? Ugh.
Kyle,
Barely
I'm going to write down.
watchables.
Can we have Kyle come on for a second? I just want to write down. Give me a grade A through F, Kyle, for Drake Maye today.
Oh my, wrong person to ask.
Really?
He's over the moon. Go ahead, Kyle.
Kyle, you've had a few hours to think about it.
It's I'm gonna say A. I'm gonna say A.
It's a little high.
If there's a learning
That's
curve, if there's a
ridiculous.
comparative, it's A compared to everything else we've had.
Yeah,
Wow.
especially when you think the rookie
3
quarterback.
touchdowns today.
Yeah, he had like 10 really good throws. And the other thing was, think about the rookies the first week of the season. None of them look good, right? And
No,
Drake actually
Jaden
had some
Daniels
moments.
lost by 17. Yeah, it's true. All right,
We
good.
were
Listen, I want this
delighted.
to happen. You don't even have to watch the Celtics the first 3 weeks. You got Drake Maye. This is fun.
We're deep in the season, man. We're already having are we sure Jalen Polk is good conversations? Like he's had some drops. I think he's got 24 targets and like 9 catches. Yeah, the Pats are back, baby. Bills Titans in Buffalo. It's either 7 or 7.5. And I'm gonna say 7.
Good.
Bills by
Good.
7.
Glad you said that. I said 7.5. It's 8.5.
Oh, Jesus.
Might be the biggest on the board. Might be. I don't want to say.
Eagles at Giants. Somebody is going to be super unhappy with their bet coming out of this game, would be my prediction.
What do you mean?
This might be a don't bet. This is a DNB. I'm declaring this a DNB.
Yeah.
How do you feel good about yourself no matter how this goes? This is the Saquon Barkley revenge game.
Right. I mean, that's all there is to it. You were waiting for him to bust one open today, right? So to put the Browns money line, that's to death.
Eagles minus 1.5 is my guess.
I get this one too. It's Eagles minus 3.5. I said 2.5.
Wow, that's fucking stupid. That's a dumb line. That's going to come down. The Eagles aren't good. How many weeks in a row can we watch the Eagles not be good before we all agree that they're not good?
Whose revenge is it though? Who's angrier? Like if you would have moved the line 0.5 point.
Saquon in Giant Stadium, yeah. I mean, the Giants only scored 7 points today. All right, last one, Bengals Browns. That is in Cleveland. Assuming Deshaun yet again. I Bengals by 3.
Oh, wow. I'm going to win this week. I had 5. It's 4.5.
Ridiculous.
Do you think Cleveland was looking ahead to this game?
No, you know what? I fucked that up because we noticed this today with that Eagles line. They're just adding 2 to 3 points to these teams because nobody wants to bet on Deshaun. That Eagles line was 9.5. That was
just
insane.
read their point total for every game, and it's 13, 14, 15. You know,
but the Bengals should not be favored by 4.5 on the road against anybody.
Too.
They suck.
No, they do.
So this line should be 2.5, and there's just 2 extra points because they're basically daring you to bet on Deshaun.
But they 20 points sucked. Browns they're 14 point. You know.
Yeah,
it's right in there.
Poop Fecta, Colts Dolphins, Indianapolis. The Dolphins just cannot be getting less than 3.5 against anybody that's even mediocre. So I'm going to say Colts by 3.5.
You get this exactly. It was 4.5, but went down to 3.5. I said 2. So
I'm not dead yet.
Nope.
Washington's home for the Panthers. That's got to be at least 7. So I'm just going to say Washington by 7.
Shit. Here's the comeback. I said 6.5. It's 8.5. All right, let me add these up.
That's a teaser.
2, 3,
although
4, 5,
with the way
6,
Washington's defense, I don't know if I trust them to hold the tees.
They got to win that if they're for real.
True. So what is it?
It's the Ron Rivera. No, you got it. I said 7.
No, but what are the records? What do we have?
Oh, it's 8-6 still, me. 8-6.
So Washington's 4-2, and they have Carolina this week, Chicago next week, at the Giants week 9. They've got to come out of this stretch 6-3, ideally 7-2, but 6-3, I think. And then
the Giants might be like a pick 'em game. Like, then they'll be favored on some of those others. This one for sure.
Okay. Rams, Raiders. in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
I don't know.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
Do you want to predict the line, but then the line versus fight videos in the stands that
Oh,
start coming
yeah,
on Instagram
wow.
that night?
You're right.
I'll do the line first. I have the Rams by 2.5 over the Raiders.
Okay, good. I said 3.5. It's 4.5.
Oh,
Everyone's
come
down on
on.
those cornerbacks that you hate.
That's stupid. Is there Cup and Nakua next week though?
Vegas zone. I don't know. I would think one of them might be healthy, right? After they had the bye, right?
All right, so 4.5. So how many Instagram fights of people fighting in the stands during this game?
Like,
Probably the same, right? 4.5.
more. It's got to be more in the stands, or could it be outside the stadium too? Because there's a bunch that's
I'd say
still over.
stands, concourse, or parking lot.
Over. Give me the over.
8.5.
Yeah, and FanDuel, you should put this up. Let's have some fun.
I don't know if Rosillo's talked about this on this podcast, but on his podcast, but this is a passion point of Rosillo with these fight videos from the stands.
What's
He
that?
says every single time the guy who's higher up wins the fight
Yeah.
because he's got leverage of like a foot, right? And you can come down and the other guy's looking up, and it's just, in boxing, you might be able to pull that off, but when the stairs are like that, the guy who's lower always loses.
Almost always. There was one recently, I think it was a hockey fight, and somebody pointed out, like, what kind of loser do you have to be to you drop the fight to a 14-year-old and while you were on higher ground. But yeah, once and you
I
gotta,
saw that one.
Yeah, you got to grab the shirt just right, I think, for it to work.
Well, what do you do if you're lower?
That's what I mean. I think you gotta
grab
bring them
the
lower.
shirt and then uppercut.
Yeah, you got to get them in there. Yeah, it's like.
Or do you go right? Do you punch right in the balls? Because that's like you have direct shot for the straight right.
Yeah, you have the wife or girlfriend distract, and then you start biting his ear. That's the only way to do it.
The other one is when the person comes from the side, same row, and sometimes misses and then falls forward, and then can get tagged from behind, and then might hit his head with the chair.
Do you
I would
think
watch
they
like
should?
an hour-long breakdown of do's and don'ts for this.
I would love it too, and I'll go even further. I would like win probabilities attached during these fights to see who the hell I'm rooting for, who I should be rooting for.
Listen, when I see the person lower versus the person higher, it's already 20% win probability.
It's
if you're lower.
It's gotta be.
There's
We took
no
some
chance.
shit for that, but I do want to make one
Who
clarification.
took some shit?
Well, people are
took
like,
some
oh
shit?
yeah, but you guys are you're okay if they put live lines on there. I was like, yeah, because that's a real thing. That's something you could.
Live lines are way different.
That's a tool that you could use and make money or lose money or something. One probably does nothing for you.
I'm really trying to like the WNBA and appreciate the place it's in. The Lynx did a win probability tweet after they won game 1, and I was outraged.
Yeah,
it's like, whoa, we're down, and then it was 99%, and then and it's like, oh, you mean when you hit a 4-pointer down 3 to take a lead with 5 seconds left, your win probability was pretty low?
It's unlikely. Yeah,
it was unlikely
happens.
you're going to win at that point, as the people were leaving because they thought the Liberty had already won. I needed a stat for this.
You should have started a fight in the stands at the Lynx Liberty game. That would have been great.
Only with people below. I don't go backwards. Yeah, it's got to be people.
That would have been tough because you were courtside, probably, right? I think so.
I was not courtside.
All right.
Who am I? Tommy Alter? Come on. All right, Sunday night. Jets at Pittsburgh. I don't know who wins this game, but it's going to be ugly. I don't think it's going to be very fun to watch. And I feel like whatever side I pick, I'm going to lose the bet. I might have to stay away. It was like the Giants game today. I even though I had $1 million picks in real life, I was like, I'm staying away. I just know my feelings are going to hurt.
The Steelers are an automatic stay away. You're just you're not watching if you don't say it's a rat line.
I'm going to say, oh man, I'm going to say Steelers by 1.
That's what I said. It's 1.5.
So you beat me.
We could be done. We could be done with the picks too. Yeah. But we could be done with these two teams in the night games, right? I think the Jets have like 3 more. I don't need to see the Jets every freaking night game.
I want to hear about Jeff Ulbrich, how beloved he is in the locker room. This guy, he has handshakes with Mike, he's got handshakes with all 53 guys. I don't know how he remembers that many handshakes, Mike. He's shaking
Let's go to
everybody's hand, Mike.
let's go to our next gen stats, Mike, and see how many handshakes Jeff Ulbrich has.
He's number 2 in PFF for handshakes with players. Collinsworth had a good one today talking about Daniel Jones. I was thinking of you.
What was
He
it?
was
I had
like,
the
"Hey,
Mets on
Mike,
there.
he tore his ACL. Do you know how hard it is to rehab, Mike? Do you know how hard it is to rehab and come back? You know how hard that is? And he's out there running around.
Did he let Mike
crazy.
answer? Does Mikey at least get to answer how hard
Mike,
it is?
I think Mike just nods. He just wants
What's
to
the
get
win
next play.
probability for Daniel Jones in a night
to
game
rehab correctly?
when he's rehabbing? Yeah.
We have 2 Monday night games this week for reasons that remain unclear. Why are they doing that? There's no way there's not a million things going on next.
You know
Monday.
what it is? It might be to shut people like you and I up because, well, here's another thing I don't realize why they do. I don't understand. There's only 2 buys, the Bears and the Cowboys. So when there's 4 buys, that knocks out a game for the 1 p.m. kickoff. Maybe they're moving one of those. I mean, these certainly look like one of them looks like, I don't know.
Ravens at Tampa is one of them, and that's a really good game.
I
think the Ravens are favored by -2.5.
You're going to get that. I said 2 and it's 4.5. Wait, let me make sure you're not in striking distance here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I have 10. You have 8.
Well, congratulations.
Oof.
You did it.
You're
Last one. Cardinals, Chargers.
Cardinals home, right?
Yep. I have Cardinals by 2.
Yeah, I had Cardinals by 1, and it's Chargers by 1.5.
Oh.
It's a little strange.
I think the Chargers defense is good. Like legit good.
Yeah.
So there's that. Maybe Vegas agrees.
Yeah, Bosa plays. It's nice. It's kind of nice when they have pressure.
So next week for the multi-view on YouTube TV.
Oh yeah, you got to pick this.
Well, I have to pick it, but it's the hardest week because
7 games.
Lions,
right?
Vikings, in the early games, Lions, Vikings, Seahawks, Falcons, Eagles, Giants, Texans, Packers, Titans, Bills. Those are 5 really good games. Plus, I'll be in a hangover after Jake Maye has his first win in London against middle seat Doug. His last game before he's on
Coach
NFL
Middle Seat
Network.
wants to see you in his office now. He's going to say goodbye. You could kick
Colleen
Tennessee
Wolf
Buffalo.
and Gerald McCoy in 2 weeks. I'm here. Middle seat Doug has joined us.
Middle seat. They want to know, do you want a club soda and what, mixed nuts or roasted nuts? Okay.
Middle seat. Would you like a stale cheese plate?
You don't have to. I don't think Tennessee Buffalo needs to be in there. I think that's a game for 40 minutes.
I think you're underestimating Will Levis.
No, that's not.
It's pretty fun twice a game when you're looking at the Will Levis TV and his hands are on his helmet and the other team celebrating. And then they cut to Coach Callahan, who's just like, I don't know what we do. I don't know what we should do on this.
How fast can we trade for Deshaun Watson? I don't care what that deal looks like.
That was Guess the Lines. Thanks again to Workday for sponsoring this segment. Be a finance and HR rockstar with Workday. To learn more, visit workday.com. We're going to take a break for the pod and then do Parent Corner quick. All right, Parent Corner, Sal.
All right.
What do you got?
I have 2. I'll be quick. First one, my son Archie goes to Oregon. He was there for Oregon, Ohio State. He slept over because game day was there. He slept over. Yeah. So
wow.
They stacked him in there. So he got there at 2 a.m. and he had signs. He and his buddy had signs, and they didn't get on camera or anything, but they were there, because it's important. You have to see an ex-punter flex topless. So you got to line up like 2:30, 3 in the morning. So that's what he did. So then they're exhausted for the game itself, but that place was really loud. Great win by Oregon over Ohio State. Rushes the field. And my thing with rushing the field is I'm like, don't do it. If you're a 10-point underdog and you're playing a top 5 team, then you could do it, basketball or football. That was always my rule. They were like a 3.5-point underdog. He rushed the field. He looked like he had the time of his life, but I feel like I'm a curmudgeon with that. Are you that way too? Or you like, do you have like a standard?
You talk about a pass rush or
A
rush
pass
the
rush.
field?
Yeah, pass rush
Pass
the
rush the
field.
field.
Yeah.
That was a pretty big game, man. How many times do two
I know. Well, that's
undefeated,
the other thing.
2
Yeah.
versus 3? I'm for it when it's giant games like that. I think when it's like
Okay.
a little lower
All right.
stakes, I'm not as good with it.
You know
But
why I
that
think
was,
I'm against it? Because I watched your documentary, the Woodstock 99, right?
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, what are these people doing now?
I
This is a
know.
little, I don't like crowds, but I'm also an old idiot. But anyway, so time of his life.
I mean, wasn't that the first time they beat a top 2
It was huge.
seed?
It was a huge win. Yeah, it's a big win.
What was your other one?
Second one. So I'm headed to Dodger Stadium tomorrow, right? And I'm bringing the kids. I'm taking them out of school. I know I'm going to get in trouble for saying that. And I'm like nervous. It's a day game. My son, Jack, who dressed as Grimace, I don't know if you remember. I think I sent you the clip. Back in June, we went to Anaheim. They played the Angels. He dressed as Grimace. He was getting high fives. I did this parent corner before. It was the time of his life. He wants to do it again tomorrow. And I was like, listen, this is different. And, you know, he like sees Grimace on the 7 train in New York getting mobbed, and he sees, you know, and like all the good stuff. And he remembers Anaheim. I was like, the Angels were 20 games out. And it was over 100 degrees. I'm like, someone's going to punch you or spit on you or say something. And I'm going to be nervously watching. I'm going to have to say something back, and it's not good. And my wife is like, oh, well, let's bring the costume in the clear bag that I'm allowed to bring in. And he could just put it on the seat. I'm like, no. And the seat is no good. We're not in a luxury box here. We're, you know, we have average seats. Like, I don't want to, you got to have my back here. You got to have your wife text Melissa and say, we can't have him.
It's a playoff game. No gimmicks for playoff games.
And they're on the road. It's not going to be well received.
Also, like, what happens if you don't have leverage in the fight in the stands?
My win
What if
probability
it's somebody from
very
behind
low.
you heckling the Grimace costume?
Grimace is very good, big. He could take care
Well,
of
if it's
himself.
behind you, remember, grab the shirt, uppercut.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you're saying,
and then you have a grimace next to you, like finishing him off, like just hammering.
So you're saying if we get the highest seats in the
last
joint,
row, you got to be last
we're good.
row. Nobody can be behind you.
That's good. That seems like a win-win for everybody. All right.
I'm anti-gimmick for an actual playoff game.
Thank you. Okay. Anti-grimace, anti-gimmick. That's it. I'm gonna have to tell him.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
Yeah.
My parent corner, as usual, for the 6th straight week, I can't do any of the ones involving my son. You're gonna have to go to the dark web for that one. So my mom, as you know, Sal, I'm half Italian, as we've joked. The Italians are different breeds. The closest pop culture has ever come to capturing it, which they captured fully, was The Sopranos. All the fucking weirdness with Italian families, just all the guilt trips, all the fucking dark shit. It's all there. So
your mother has you killed. Your mother eventually puts a hit on you.
I mean, she might. Don't rule it out. She's still alive. So House was coming this week, and my mom loves House, and House loves to eat. And I was like, you know, you haven't cooked in a while. House is coming, like, you know, and Kyle, and it's Drake May's first game. Like, if there was ever a week you were gonna cook, this is it. So I didn't hear back, and then I texted later. I'm like, hey, are you gonna cook for us? And she sent me a short text back. Well, you guilt tripped me enough, so I guess I have to. So now we're immediately on that ground. So during the game today, she showed up with a bunch of food during the late games. Doorbell rang, brought in, didn't want to stay. She made ravioli, brajals, meatballs, big thing of rice pudding, put all of it in, brought some bread. And it was really great. And then made a point again of how I guilt tripped her and how she spent 2 days making everything. I don't know if I totally believe the 2 days, but that's fine. And it was all delicious. And Joe House ate a lot. And now he's like Bobby Bacala on the couch right now as we do this podcast. I don't know how much
couldn't even get up to say hi.
He ate a ton. He's like, Tone. But it was great. And the lesson, as always, is guilt trips work in Italian families.
Yeah. Whether you're the son or the parent, right? Or the kid. Yeah.
But she did on the way out. She's like, you could come by and see me every once in a while. Keep in mind, I was gone. I was literally gone for 8 days. I was in the East Coast for 8 days, but somehow it's my fault that, you know, I called her a couple times. But yeah,
visit your mom and you'll get brajol is the bottom line here.
The guilt trips. I don't know. What other ethnicities have guilt trips?
Jewish. Yeah. Jewish.
So you have both. So you have both
I got
sides.
both. My mother's Jewish. My father's Italian. And it is just clash. It's a guilt trip around the world is what it is.
Crazy. Here's my other parent corner. This is more of a husband corner. My wife went to go see my daughter today and did a 7 a.m. flight. So I was like, all right, pack the night before, put everything outside our bedroom so that you don't wake up. I got to wake up early for this the Jags London game. But if you do everything the night before, you'll sneak out. You won't wake me up, and and she's like, no, that's why I'm not going to wake you up. That'll be good. And it was 5 minutes in. 4:45. I'm wide awake. She's like, where is it? Oh my God. And she's like just swearing at herself in the bathroom because she misplaced something. So I've been up since 4:45 this morning.
What's worse, the guilt trip or the exclamations looking for a hairbrush?
Well, does your wife do the monologue? This monologue
Yeah.
to their self when they're frustrated?
Yeah, from room to room.
Guys don't do this.
No, I don't think so.
This is like a specifically more toward maybe just our wives and other, but yeah, it's just this running monologue where I don't know who they're talking to. And we can't hear, you just hear muffled, like anguish arguing with no other person in the room.
I feel like if I did that, she'd put me in an insane asylum. But yeah, she gets carte blanche. She gets to be able to do
my God. And now I can't find my keys. And it's like, this is a Netflix movie you're the narrator of? Like, what? There's nobody else here. It's just me.
Yeah. I like it.
So I don't know. There's got to be some reason for the monologue.
Yeah.
Like that. I think they want us to hear. Because sometimes they'll do this stuff like, well, I guess I'll be the one who cleans up the kitchen again. And you'll be like, all right, that was directed at me. But then there's other times where they're not really talking to anybody. It's just like outer monologue.
Yeah. But if you bring it up to them,
it doesn't
win probability of winning that argument is zero.
Yeah. Kyle hasn't had kids yet, but he did get married last year. Kyle, does your wife just have monologues with herself that you're not involved in?
No, actually, this was kind of a moment. I think I might be the monologue guy, so I'm going to work.
Really?
You're the monologue guy. Interesting. So maybe
yeah.
it's one spouse in the couple as the monologuist.
Yeah, you claimed your turf there as a monologuist.
Kyle did.
Yeah,
my wife, just clearly the monologuist in our family. Yeah, so
Kyle lives with rabbits and stuff though too.
See,
so
instead of people giving us feedback on win probability, this is what I want feedback on.
Right?
Who's the monologuist in your relationship?
Yeah, because there's always one.
Yeah,
it can't be two because then you'll drive each other nuts all the time. And maybe when you turn like 75, everyone becomes a monologuist.
Is this why Brad didn't get married? Because he's just having a monologue with himself. He doesn't need another person in the room.
A lot of personalities there. Yeah.
Brad, my wife, your wife, and Kyle. Those are our 4 examples so far. We'll see.
Brad has never caught a 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. flight. They're both too early.
Yeah, next time the 7 a.m. flight's not happening. Anyway, that was Parent Corner. What do you got to plug this week, Sal?
Against the
Mets
odds.
comeback.
There we go. Come on, let's get some wins here. Let's make this exciting. But we have Against All Odds podcast on the Ringer Podcast Network right here. Through the Ringer with Tate Frazier, the Ringer pregame show. I hit an SGP. Simmons, when the hell does that happen?
Oh my God.
The Chargers. Yeah, that was fun. And on Cousin Sal's winning weekend, I'm interviewing Anthony Richardson.
Interesting.
It is interesting. That? Well, it's Tuesday, and I mean it airs Friday. So what do I say about his availability? It's a little tricky.
Maybe just talk about the combine.
Yeah.
Are you ready for me to become an NBA hole again, or no?
No. Oh, you're gonna do it already. You're already sending texts about what you put in on FanDuel and stuff. OKC and
I was back east.
All this.
It's all of a sudden it's really easy to just make some crazy bets. They have 1 seeds, all stuff we'll be talking about this week in the pod. All right.
Love it.
Sal, good luck with the Mets. Good job by you.
Good job by you, buddy.
Thanks to Kyle Creighton for producing as always. Thanks to Steve Cerruti and Gahau as well. Don't forget you could subscribe to this YouTube feed and then you wouldn't be surprised when we pop on there. And I'll be back on this podcast on Tuesday. Bye, everybody.